I'm filling my cup, I'm filling my soul, healing my heart, taking control. I've been empty, now I overflow. Welcome to SelfFull Convos. SelfFull Convos. Your healing's overdue. Fill your cup.
Hello, beautiful people. You stepped into SelfFull Convos, where healing, laughter, and love flows freely. I am your host, Coach Nye, and this is your space to refill and remember the power of your cup. So settle in and allow me to pour into you. So last episode we talked about elimination and releasing what doesn't pour back into us, what necessarily doesn't align. And once you let go, peace shows up. So this episode we're gonna dive into um how should I say what peace really is and how to effectively protect that peace. Because I really believe a lot of us think that we've acquired peace, but in reality, we just chose a piece of quiet. I'm gonna get into that. Just bear with me, okay? Stay with me. Stay with me. So I want you to keep this in the back of your head. Um, Peace doesn't just happen. Peace is something you choose and protect. I'm going to say that one more time for my people in the back. Peace doesn't just happen, it is something you choose and protect. Now, in order to be like, I am protecting my peace or I have acquired this newfound peace, you have to really understand what peace is and what that looks like for you. Because what someone else's peace looks like for them and cultivates for them might not do the same for you. You have to figure out what yours is and what going through, what trials and tribulations you need to go through, what things you need to confront to be able to actually live in that realm of peace. So I want you to understand peace is not the absence of chaos or the absence of problems. It is it is the absence. How do I want to say this? Peace is not the absence of problems, but peace is acquired when you confront those problems and sit in it, right? Because that's the uncomfortable space. That's those tough conversations. That's the accountability, real accountability. And then it's the change behavior that comes with that accountability, right? Once you get to the other side of that, then you could say, this is what peace is, right? So peace isn't quiet because nothing is happening. It's quiet because you stop entertaining what disturbs you, right? So you're not isolating yourself, but you're prioritizing your solitude over anything. But you could only have peace in your solitude if you have confronted several things, or your solitude is going to begin to feel like loneliness and you are secluding yourself from people because you haven't addressed certain things, certain situations, or you haven't even um, confronted yourself and dealt with certain thoughts within yourself. So sitting alone, sitting in what should be considered solitude seems burdening, seems heavy because your mind won't stop going a mile a minute or thinking over or replaying certain situations that you feel could have had a different outcome, or you could have acted in a different way, or however you replay it in your head. Peace comes when you can either confront yourself and deal with self and say, we can no longer harbor on the past. We have to let it be what it is, and how it may flow from here. We'll deal with it, or we're going to deal with that situation head on. And I always go back to the quote my previous therapist gave me. She's and it goes as, it's either you're going to be the cow or the bull. And when she first started telling me this, baby, I did not understand. And I was just like, girl, get to it. Okay? Like, get to it. And she explained, like, in tornadoes, cows have a higher mortality rate because they tend to run from the storm. And when you run from it, you end up getting caught up in it and swept away. So your likelihood of surviving a storm that you ultimately knew was coming um, decreases because you chose to keep running instead of taking it head on, making proper preparations, and all of those things, right? To where is the bull, they see the tornado and they say, hmm, let me see if I could just make it to the other side. And instead of running away from it, they run through it, and their likelihood of surviving increases because they confronted it and they was able to not get swept up but push through. um I had to sit with that for a while. At first, it wasn't resonating because when you are in emotion, um, certain things just don't hit. And it's not until you calm down and you reach more of a calmer state of mind, you can start to process information. And that's when I realized I was doing a lot of cowing around. Ain't no other way to put it. I was doing a lot of cowing around. And I say that because I was choosing a piece of quiet rather than real peace. I was choosing isolation than real cultivating uh real solitude, and actually an environment where I can hear myself in clarity and I could operate in my creative and I could do all of these things. Instead, I was burdened in that space, replaying or reliving or rehashing. And that's when I knew, baby, it's time for us to do the uncomfortable, sit in some things, have the tough conversations. Um, and maybe it may not be closure that you're always seeking. It may just be understanding. And sometimes we have to understand you're not always going to get closure. And you're definitely not always going to get an apology, because apology means a person accepts accountability. And a lot of people do not accept accountability. So, in turn, you don't get the apology that you believe you rightfully deserve. And how do you move forward? Baby, apologize to self. Because at the end of the day, as much as we can point fingers here, there, and everywhere, it comes down to us. We allowed ourselves to trust people, or put ourselves in situations or in places. We went against our own gut instinct, or ignored our discernment. We have to then do some introspection and look at self. How did I play a role in this? Maybe I need to apologize for self and do better at listening to what is protecting me, right? Because let's be real, your whole body is a nervous system. It will alarm you of things before you yourself know that it's coming. The hairs that stand up on the back of your head, my heart just started racing for no reason. Baby, what is happening? You have to learn how to pay attention to you and trust you. This is when you can start trusting you again, because you are now understanding this is the role I play and I ignored that. I brushed this to the side. I gave one too many grace periods on this. This is when you can be like, you know what? I'm gonna own that. Um, Baby, I apologize to you. I'm going to protect you more moving forward. I'm going to make sure that we are in spaces that also honor and protect our peace that we have cultivated for ourselves. It's okay to apologize to you. And a lot of the times, we don't do that. We can apologize to frick, frack, and stand or demand apologies from other people, but ask yourself, how many times have you actually taken the time to look in the mirror, write yourself a letter, genuinely apologizing and taking accountability for where you are now, how you got here, and the role you played in situations at different places and with different people? That that is a big piece of healing. That is a big piece of understanding who you are and who you are growing into. We can't ignore self. As much as we could look at others, as much as we can examine what they got going on, we have to be able to do the same and turn the mirror on ourselves and, and judge us down. Clock that. Okay? Yeah. So I do want to say peace comes with understanding the toxic side of you. Because with accountability, you also have to understand the things you take joy in that is not healthy or not conducive to who you desire to be. And I'm coming into that more and more. And I always told you guys I'm going to be as transparent as possible. And this is very vulnerable for me to say, but where else can I say it? So here we go. In therapy, I have learned, being that I have grown up in an environment that wasn't necessarily uber chaotic, but it had its realm of dysfunction and chaos within itself. Um, the toxic side of me takes joy in entertainment of things that kind of remind me of that in a sense. And the example that I could give is when I was young, I've dealt with a lot of anger issues. I was I was bullied, and then I unfortunately, you know how they say the bully turns into a bully. I unintentionally and with lack of self awareness turned into a bully, and essentially with trying to balance of learning how to stand up for myself and then overdoing it to the sense of now people have considered me that um it I'm sorry. um I try to be very aware now of how not I'm perceived, because I can't change anyone's perception of me, but I do try to be very mindful of how what I say can be received. Um, so within that, I had to address a lot of things um, within myself. And one thing that over the years, I would say, I didn't notice how sucked in I got into it, but it was more so the reality TV. And I'm not just talking about, you know, your normal Love and Hip Hop and all those good shows. I'm talking about the Ratchet TV, the apps that you probably don't got. And I'm not just talking about Zeus Network. I'm talking about electronics. Now that's TV. Shouldn't even be listing this because you don't even know it. You don't need to know it. Keep your cup full with the positive stuff. But I took, I'm not gonna say, oh, it was joyful to watch, but I can sit and tolerate and listen and all the yelling because I didn't have it in my everyday life no more. So it's like that other part of me needed that stimulation to really live in the healthy environment. I get it; it's confusing and it's not healthy. So through therapy is understanding calm is not boring, and you don't need negative excitement to fill that space. There are other ways of giving you that level of what is it called? pheromones or uh, adrenaline rush that you're looking for that is more healthy, like go karting or axe throwing, pick up a new habit or something, or a new hobby. So that's what that essentially brought me to. And it's also came with the understanding that um, it's okay to not be okay. And learning these things about yourself don't mean that, oh my God, I'm a bad person. I didn't, there's none of that. It's just learning to understand, to know what you need to unlearn to be a better you, right? So yeah, I had to start cutting back on the things that I allowed myself to take in visually or even through my ears. And yes, I seen a drastic shift in that, even with how I sit with myself, or now the extent of time that I can sit with myself, because I'm not no longer surrounded in or drowning in so much noise or trying to fill a space with noise because I feel like that part of me is missing it. Now I am able to enter into a space and have that mind clarity. And I can sit with myself for long stints of time. And when I say long stints of time, I mean long, and I get lost in it. Um, and it feels good. It feels refreshing. It's not as tasking as it used to feel. And I say that because when you are building up that stamina to be able to sit in your solitude and have that mindfulness and experience that clarity, it does feel like a minute is 10 and 10 is 30. So sitting there, it's like, oh, I feel like I've been sitting here for a minute, but in reality, it has not been. In reality, it has not been. And the I think the overall lesson of it was, in my life I got used to that saying of this is the calm before the storm. And as I got older and as I, sought out more education, sought out resources, different forms of help for myself, or learning things for myself, I had to realize that calm doesn't necessarily mean a storm is about to happen. Like, we always don't have to operate in survival mode. And I had to get myself out of that because that was not conducive to the peace that I'm trying to cultivate. How can you actually say that you've acquired peace, but your mind and your body and your spirit is stuck in survival mode? That literally places you in a position of thinking everything is urgent, everything is right now, everything is go 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 go. There's no rush, there's no settle, there's no, you don't even take joy in the small wins, the big ones. You just go 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 because you don't know if you're not going to be able to go no more or live. Baby, just breathe. Just breathe. And peace has taught me that it's okay to not always be on go. It's okay to listen to my body and know when I need rest. It's okay to take a moment to tune into self. I started reading this book and it's called Rest is Resistance. I will put it in the description of this episode. I can't remember the author off the top of my head. But it talked about how we have become such a um, slave to this world of communism and white supremacy, out of this work agenda that they push. And especially us of minority, we're in a constant mind frame of do more, excel. We don't get breaks. We That is not healthy. And that book opened my eyes not just to the need of rest, but the benefit that many of us do not understand. And I encourage everybody to read it. So, um, yes, I have reached a place where my peace has become so precious to me, because I know what I had to do to cultivate it. I know um, everything that I had to address, confront, or stand in, or sit in, or all of that to get here. So the lengths I would go to, or yeah, the lengths I would go to protect it, I can't even explain. But I can say my peace comes with no explanation. And I say that because I want people to understand no doesn't have a last name. No's is your no's and your yeses are ways to protect yourself, right? Both should be given out with intention. Intention of I'm saying this because yes, I can do it, or no, I actually do not have the time. I do not have the capacity. Or it's just a no, period. None of that should come with any further explanations. Shouldn't feel daunted of wanting to sit out of an event, or feel like you have to explain yourself to a thousand people a thousand times over. You shouldn't feel guilt when you want to move a certain way on your time. You I feel like, being that many of us lack the true meaning of what peace is and how it actually looks for any individual. We hold these false expectations of how people should move and what it should look like and all of these things. But in reality, as we grow, we change our mindset shifts. We adapt new practices. We move away from some things of the past, and that can be hard for people to swallow. So your piece is not understood necessarily because it's foreign. And instead of taking the time to understand it, a lot of you may get a lot of people who will be intimidated by it or offended by it because they think you're moving different or operating in a way that it is distancing them from you, which is not the case. Um, Ultimately, I do think that your piece, I'm not even going to say think, I wholeheartedly believe that your piece truly align you with those that you need around you, that deserve to be around you, because they in turn respect and understand and honor your peace. And not only that, they will go through the extra lengths to ensure that not only you, but they also will protect your peace. No questions asked, no explanations needed. And most of the time it's done without you even knowing about it. That's the beauty of having um, real and the right people around you when you go through your learning and your healing phases, and you actually are aligned with those on the same wavelength, in the same playing field, and they understand what it took to get that, even just a sense or a glimpse of peace. They will too fight tooth and nail for you to be able to not only maintain but sustain and also pour into you so that you too can experience the overflow. So yeah, uh, this does make me think about. Um, I just want to make sure I remember the right Bishop Pullen. He used to say, "Everything lawful is not expeditious." Why do you say that? Because a lot of people feel like you have to be in a rush to give answers, a rush to move or make decisions. Um, Peace will teach you that sometimes allowing your space time to think, process, and truly weigh options of what it could look like for you can make a difference. I get it. Some things do need to be done yesterday, but majority of the time we can get a moment to think on it, and it's up to you to be able to respect and honor yourself and your cup enough to be like, let me give myself a moment to see if I can fully commit to that, or I can fully obligate myself to whatever is going on. You get what I'm saying? So you you have to be okay with taking a beat. And that's not easy for a lot of people because it wasn't easy for me, if I'm being honest. Like, I wanted things done now. I expected to be responded to quickly as I'm responding to you. I don't want to wait. I don't want to lag. None of that. But I also, moving through life, you understand people need time. Just because you think something is a good idea or you think something is good for somebody, they need time to be able to process that information on their own and come to their own decisions. We can't make decisions for people. So, the same way we want people to give us things, we have to give them grace and give them the space to be able to make that decision as well. So, yeah. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been I've been in a space of realizing, like, baby, peace ain't free. It comes with a hefty cost. Like, just like I said earlier, it would align you with who you need to be around, or people that are on the same wavelength and pattern as you. That also works with the the um, the contrary, right? Just as it aligns you with people, you have to be able to accept the shift away from other people or places or things. So you may be surprised at the relationships that it pull you from, because once you realize what's depleting you, who's depleting you, situations that you have been in that have drained you, empty your cup, or you've run on dry for however long, and you start prioritizing yourself, a lot of things unintentionally from your doing will fall to the wayside, because it no longer aligns with who you are now, developing into being what you have gained self-awareness of, and now what you can see for what it is, right? So a lot of people, patterns, and the old versions of self will go away, and you have to be okay with that. It's not This not a free ride. You got to be willing to give up some things. You got to be willing to accept some things about yourself. You can't just think that this is just going to be oh, I'm sitting in peace. No, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows, honey, baby. To get to the sunshine, you have to be able to sit through the storm. And I don't know if YouTube a tornado. And I'm not talking about while it's happening, just the aftermath, right? Everything that was in his way is brought to ground level. You have to be able and willing to be able to be brought back to ground level, and not see it as the end all be all, not see it as the time to cave in or give up, but see it as a chance to rebuild and restructure your foundation in a way, and be intentional about the bricks you place and where you place them in building you, that who and what come in those doors, or you allow to pour into your cup or pour out of your cup too, it makes sense. You can't be scared to and I'm not going to say, because I don't even like using the term now, start over, because start over can be so burdening, like, oh my god, I gotta start over again. start over. No, this is a fresh start, a new beginning. Change your word, and once you realize how powerful your wording is, you will be more careful of the words you choose to speak. Okay? So it's not a start over. It's a chance to restart. It's a chance of a new beginning. And once you see it that way, the the fire should light up in you. And the intent that you put in that foundation and and building and the bricks you select should all line up to the person that you desire to be. Because you can either protect your peace or keep protecting the people who disturb it. But you can't do both. Okay? You can't. You can't. So I ask you, take a moment and really sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do peace look like for me? All right? What is the peace I truly desire to cultivate for myself? And be very specific and descriptive. Okay? And then ask yourself, what disrupts my peace most often currently? And why have I tolerated it? Be honest, be real, because we like to skip over details when it comes to ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. I see you. I see you. Mm-hmm. We like to sometimes skip things when it comes to ourselves because we like to do a lot of pointing everywhere. But this is about you. This is about how I can take accountability of me and how I can be a better me. So I would advise you take that moment, write these things down, and truly do some inventory of self. Do some self-examination. And if it's if it's better for you or simpler for you, you could even keep it as vanilla as making a list of things, people, and habits that help your nervous system calm down. That's things that help. That's identifying things that help cultivate what you can consider peace. So you got go through this very extensive, detailed, descriptive, specific. I always mess up that word. Specific way, or you could just keep it very simple and straight to the point. Y'all know I don't leave y'all without a little bit of homework. Okay? Just a little bit. So before we wrap up, we have to do our affirmation of the day. So repeat after me. I choose peace, even when it costs me comfort, familiarity, or approval. We're going to say that one more time. And excuse me if I'm saying that word wrong. I'm not the best at, yeah. So repeat after me. I choose peace, even when it costs me comfort, familiarity, or approval. Next episode, we're going to be talking about acceptance and the moment you stop fighting who you were and start honoring who you are becoming. I want to thank everyone, each and every one of you, for walking in this healing journey with me and taking the time out your day to listen. I'm grateful for every single one of you. I ask that you like, subscribe, share to a friend, family member, cousin, sister, brother, uncle, all them good things. You can find us on, well, find me. I'm saying us. You can you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at SelfFull Convos. Make sure you are tapped in for all of our latest news, events, all of those great things. Yes, I look forward to keep pouring, right? That's the best way I could put it. So thank you for letting me pour into you today. Don't forget to do your cup check, honor it, and love yourself. Until next time, stay full, stay whole, stay self full. I love you, beautiful people.
Keep your cup full, let your light glow. Remember your peace as you go. Till next time, you already know. SelfFull Convos, yeah. Stay full, stay true. SelfFull Convos just for you.